What up? What up?
What up?
Party people in the house.
That's right.
About to drink some champagne. Listen to this album. How's that old country song go?
Pop a top again. Pop a cork again. It's let's try not to just destroy anything in our house.
No broken glass, okay?
No broken glass, Michael.
We've already had that. It's been done.
Go here.
You want
we
me
go.
to turn it? Wait.
Hold on.
Let's go.
That was a little anticlimactic. It's okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, that champagne bottle opening signifies opening ceremonies
The opening ceremonies.
and or celebration.
We're officially, as we like to say in this band, done.
Oh, is this for me? Y'all gonna make me drink?
I didn't even
Yeah.
drink champagne at my own wedding, y'all.
I've
but I'm
never-
drinking champagne at this.
I've never had champagne before.
Well, I guess you're about ready then, aren't you?
I think it's about time. He did me right. There's only a little in here.
All right, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, y'all got your you got your glasses up?
Everybody
Everyone
got their glasses here.
Chink,
Let's get a
chink,
nice
chink.
little cheers here. Oh, yeah. To a successful album release weekend.
Cheers, everybody.
Man, it feels good to be done.
That's delicious.
Nice. It's not bad at all.
Not bad.
That is
not
quality
bad.
My
champagne.
God, what do you call this?
It's cava. It's a cava, actually. Can't call it champagne because it's not from Champagne.
Yes, champagne is only from the Champagne Valley in France. Yes.
But this is good. This is
Oh,
Spanish.
delicious.
This is
What the heck?
Spanish champagne.
Here you go.
All right. Well, that was
Well,
fun.
Got some more people filing in here. That's what we'd like to see.
nice. Everybody, let us know where you're watching from. We're going to kind of keep it a little loose tonight, just kind of hang out, talk about the album a bit. We're going to go through and play all the different songs. Got a couple music videos we're going to play for you. If you got any questions, feel free to ask them. If you got any questions about any of the songs or anything like that, we'll do our best to answer them and give some stories behind everything. And, just hang out and enjoy this fine creation that we have created.
Without further ado, track number 1. Maestro.
Spin that
DJ
shit.
Jarek, spin that shit.
Y'all ready? Here it goes.
Midnight in Montana, how the lonesome as a place could be. But it's there I learned that the weight of the world can be carried in a 33. Can be carried in a 33. At 16 I headed for Chicago, down to Nickel dollar to my name. And a few months later they ran me off with a pocket full of another man's change. With a pocket full of another man's change. Made my way up to Minnesota, nearly froze to death in winter 29. When the preacher took me in despite of my sins, I ran off with darling Angeline. Well, I ran off with darling Angeline. threw me down in Bismarck, so I left her on the side of the road. Not before I took that old diamond ring that her daddy gave her mama years ago. That her daddy gave her mama years ago. Sold the ring for $20 to a man drinking gin at a bar. Said there's easy money in Montana if a man can roll the dice and play some cards. If a man can roll the dice and play some cards. Train jumped off the dawn's first light, made it into town before the dew went down, walking hard and looking for a fight. We were walking hard and looking for a fight. Went to rob the Bank of Missoula and into my faithful Jersey. Just when he saw the gold, well, his eyes turned cold and he pulled out his trusty 33. Pulled out his trusty 33. Never saw it come, never knew what I was looking for. When the shots fired out another lonely midnight shower, I grabbed the gold and headed for the door. I grabbed the gold and headed for the door. Ran through the door seeking redemption, can't take on the final look around. When I heard the rocket crack, 33 in the back, left me lying in the cold Montana ground. Left me lying in the cold Montana ground. Midnight in Montana, out as lonesome as a place could be. Well, it's there I learned that the weight of the world can be carried in a 33. Can be carried in a 33. Can be carried in a 33.
All right.
Right on.
Was a banger right there.
That was some
That
banjo
was-
plucking.
Why don't you tell us about that song, Brian?
Well, that song is basically just like a good old-fashioned storytelling song about this guy who leaves home and travels around the Midwest, ends up falling in love with the preacher's daughter, runs away with her, then runs away from her while stealing her parents' wedding ring, and ends up selling it to some guy at a bar, and then ends up meeting up with that guy and going to Montana and going to rob this bank. And he attempts to double cross the other guy who he sold the ring to, and the guy catches wise and ends up getting shot in the back on the way running out the door.
Yikes.
So yeah, it's kind of just a good old fashioned like storytelling song. Yeah, when I wrote that one, I kind of, I was in a lot of times I tended to write a lot of sad songs about, like, I'm not saying that's not a sad song, but historically I wrote a lot of sad songs about, about heartbreak and all that good old stuff. And I wanted to kind of change it up and tell a story, and that's kind of what came out. Yeah, that's about it.
Very nice. What's the next track?
Wait, I still got things to talk about, brother.
Hey,
Listen,
hey,
man.
Derek,
Don't-
hey, Derek, do you have
don't-
anything you want to talk
Dude,
about?
thanks for asking, man.
You know, people always say, who's the bass player? No one ever asks, how's
Why?
the bass
Oh,
player?
how? Why
we,
is the
we,
bass
we have a
player?
bass player.
I thought that was a cello
Yeah.
this entire time.
It's actually a double-sized cello for those asking. No, some of my favorite parts of that song is like the syncopated stuff that we threw into the song. Like I remember Winston was recording. I don't know if it was dobro or mandolin, and he was like, "What would you play here on bass?" And I think I just like sang something. I don't know. Do you remember what instrument you were playing? You were playing. He was playing dobro, and he wanted to put a lick in there, and he was like, "What would you play here on bass?" Because I hadn't recorded my final bass take yet, and I just kind of sang something, and then he played it, and then it ended up being one of the coolest licks at the end of that last verse, which is awesome. I really like that.
I remember showing up that day, and you guys were like, hey, we've got this new part. And I was like, cool, because I was at home last night not knowing anything, getting ready to come into the studio, a.k.a. the Fog Cave.
Just rehearse the whole
AKA,
song.
like, right here.
Yeah, right here. And we got to that ending part, and they're like, no, you got to do that. And I was like, but I don't know it. I didn't learn it. You didn't tell me anything about this. And it was on the fly. So that whole part for me was, hey, let's sit here for half an hour to an hour and just push it through.
Yeah.
So that song always makes me feel like I want to get in a hockey fight. And so when I got it done in 2 takes and Derek was like, no, that was great. I was like, oh, thank God. That one
Little
takes
exhausting.
it out of me.
Yeah, being in a C-sharp key on upright bass is a little hard for me too. I don't remember how many takes I did on it, but it was definitely exhausting.
One take.
Yeah, obviously one take, obviously.
You did one take on everything, man.
Speaking of hockey, let's go Canes. Yeah, let's go, boys.
Oofta.
I'm gonna be a little distracted here in about an hour once they start.
We're going to give you fair warning. We're going to put the game on.
We're gonna put the game on. Sorry, so we'll be like halfway distracted. I apologize. It's game 2. Let's go.
Pucks on net, boys.
Pucks on net. Tapes to tapers.
Well, I guess we'll just go on to the next tune then. What do you guys say?
Yeah, buddy.
Love it.
This next song here is called Railroad Man.
Well, the railroad man, he don't care where he's going, keeps rolling, never showing any signs of where he's been. Sound along the cry of a whistle howling in the wind. He's come and gone again into the night. Railroad man, he don't care about tomorrow. Midnight train to Colorado, one more day till he's free. Feels the calling of that Rocky Mountain high. He can't wait to say goodbye to this life. Railroad man, He came running from that freight train, singing a lonely refrain about times come and gone. Now he wonders if he'll ever see that train again, ever feel that midnight wind call his name. Railroad man, he don't care where he's going, keeps rolling, never showing any signs of where he's been, except the lonely cry of a whistle howling in the wind. He's come and gone again into the night.
Alrighty.
That was another banger.
That was the second single. Available now.
Y'all not gonna dance?
It's not time. It's not time.
It's almost. Hey, later on. The dancing
Yeah.
comes later. We gotta pick it up a little bit.
We don't even
first,
have a half a bottle of cava yet.
Yeah,
man. Come on.
We got some champagne. Once we get this flowing a little bit, we'll start dancing
Like
a little
John
bit.
Mayer's ghost account or something.
So I guess it's my turn to speak again. So that song essentially is about a hobo. It's another one of those I was trying.
What's
to,
the hobo's name?
I really don't know. I never have.
Does he have a family?
No. I don't.
No
I don't
mother, no
picture him-
father.
I don't. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, that's too determined.
I'm joking. I'll stop. Go on.
Well, basically, I think the premise of that is it's about a hobo, like in the traditional term of hobo, like somebody that travels on trains. So basically, it's about this guy who's traveling around and living this nomadic lifestyle, and he's kind of always yearning to get past it, and then he eventually kind of gets to that point, and then discovers that where he actually found his purpose was living a nomadic lifestyle. So, it's talking about, sometimes in life we think we want one thing and then we get it and then we realize maybe it's not exactly what we want after all. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I love that one. I like playing that one live too. It's a good change of pace from all of our other stuff. We get to slow down a little bit and get into a cool bridge. And
I feel like that one, that bridge that we did, that was kind of day of as well. We were like, we need to do something here. And Winston was like, do some banjo stuff.
It was
kind
kinda
of
rough. We
That.
had
Or
it,
someone just said, yeah, why don't you fill in what you can right there. And I remember that was day of too.
I know the chords of the bridge.
It was there. The
Been
chords
that
were
way
there.
for a while,
Yeah,
but as far
yeah,
as the
yeah.
melody that and then adding that dobro, they have it kind of give it a little bit of space and kind of give it a little bit of a spacey kind of feel, even though most of the song is pretty stripped down. It's not like going into that other territory, if you will.
yeah, we're saving that for a little bit later in the album.
Yeah. Hang on, folks. It's coming. Don't you worry.
You got anything to say about this next tune before we crank her up, Winston?
This one's for all the Office fans out there.
Hey, you're giving it away, man.
They're not going to know.
Well, without further ado, this is Abilene, track 3.
Caleb Crawdad was a man and he was town alone. Wouldn't go outside, he'd seen the sun was gone and never stayed up too long, fearing someone sneaking around his home. Every evening he'd go down to a place nobody'd seen, tending to the grave of his lovely Abilene, across the creek down in the woods, underneath that hot Savannah moon. body had been found, he was suspect number one. Police at his door, but he tried to hide his gun. So we only want to talk. Boy, don't you dare try to run. So we opened up the door and Wallace looked around, took a note of everything and every single sound. And Caleb looked him in the eye and asked him kindly, what was all this about? I'm just a man who's lost his wife. If it was up to me, I would have taken my own life. Know what it looked like and I know how it seemed, but I swear I'd never take the life of my lovely Aileen. You say you didn't kill your wife, but we think you're a liar. And I bet you knew that she'd been running off in the middle of the night. See the body in this bag, he's the one that she'd been kissing. Shortly thereafter, her body came up missing. And I bet you put a hole in him, trying to match that hole in your heart. I'm just a man who's lost his wife. If it was up to me, I would have taken my own life. Know what it looked like and I know how it seemed, but I swear I'd never take the life of my love, Aileen. Since he held her in his arms, swore her on her grave that he'd never done her harm. But Wallace threw the book at him, Caleb knew just what he had to do. So he got himself a shovel and he got himself a knife. One he got for killing, the other to save his wife. When Caleb opened up the box, Aileen, she was already gone. Like and I know how it seemed, but I swear I'd never take the life of my lovely. No, I swear I'd never take the life of my lovely. No, I swear I'd never take the life of my lovely Aileen.
So, Winston, what would you like to talk about after listening to that?
So I wrote that song after watching the murder mystery episode of The Office, and
There has been a moida.
it has been a moida, and just kind of wanted to, just write a song that wasn't like a first person, wasn't like a personal, like there's no deeper meaning behind that song. It's just like a story that I came up with in my head. But I really thought that Caleb Crawdad was just too cool of a name to not be in a song. And it just kind of came together. It was one of those ones that kind of wrote it in like 15 minutes and sent it to the guys, and they were like, "Sweet," and it was supposed to be just a stupid song that they were like, "Oh, that sucks," but they were like, "We love it." So
That's because
there
we
it
didn't
was.
have any like a lot of originals at the time. We're like, this is great, dude.
Sure.
It was rough at the beginning, but we made it sound good,
That's
man.
right,
I mean,
yeah.
again, it was another tune. You know, I guess I'll say it now. One thing that we did while recording this album was we had all these tunes. You know, Brian, when I joined the band in November officially, August officially.
Yeah, I think like
Yeah, August. You're
yeah, it
right.
was like the
You're
end
right.
of
Yeah,
August of 2019.
yeah. It was right before, right around IBMA was like the first time I started gigging with you guys. So
There was there was like a few weekends where you couldn't like make all the shows
yep.
yet, but then by like
So anyway, you know, I got in the band at that point, and I remember in Wilmington down in Bev's house, Brian pulled me aside and showed me a bunch of these tunes, and then you know from there on out we had all these tunes, but we had so many gigs at the time we didn't really take the time to sit down and really work them out into the extent of what we needed to do to record an album with them, and that's one opportunity that we got to do during this whole process, and you know I'm thankful for it. It makes everything just come together a little bit more and feel more solid. You know.
yeah, absolutely. Like yeah, for sure. Like so like as in comparisons to like the first album, I guess you know it's hard to like actually make super big comparisons, but on the first album, Wishing It Would Rain, it's like yeah, we kind of like Derek, Winston, and myself. Well, Winston and I have been playing together for years, but you know, us three as a band have been playing together for I don't know, like 3 months, and all the songs that we like recorded, it was like we wrote like parts for the songs, like going up to them. First off, we recorded in a tiny little cabin up in the mountains. The mics weren't placed properly, so there was like all the instruments were bleeding over into each other, different microphones, and we were still writing parts of the songs, and in the recording process, and it's just basically it made it a lot more to work with. Yeah. So now going forward to like this album, where like basically all of these songs were written prior to the recording process, and we'd played a lot of them live for a while. At least Derek, Winston, and myself had played them, you know, countless times, and Michael played them a good bit. And then even before we started recording, we made sure it was like fully fleshed out. Everything was arranged the way we wanted it to be before we recorded it. And, you know, took the time to make it all come together.
You know, except for those, there's always a couple minor times where someone's going to be like, oh wait, but actually let's do this instead, you know, and that's the good thing about recording is like we think we have a definite plate on our hands, and we're like, no, let's move the mashed potatoes over here instead because you know
a great example of that is like I had like harmonies written out for this song, and I've been singing them live for months probably, but not until we recorded them. We realized like, oh, we have to like mute like the beginning half of each line. Like I'm only singing like the end of some lines, and it's like we would have never known that if we didn't get into the studio and spend the time to like iron that out, which is really cool. Definitely didn't do that on the first album.
Yeah.
We were structuring tunes while we were setting microphones up the first time around.
Yeah, I mean the opening lick of our first album was written
Right
while
before
we were recording that song. But do. Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, that is from the song Cacophonation.
Which is not a word.
Which is not a word, but it is a song. Yeah, you know, I just think, you know, overall we took more time. We recorded the first album in like 4 days, and we had a lot more to work with. And like, you know, I did a little interview the other day with a guy, Brian Tucker from Star News down in Wilmington, and you know, I said I have to thank the pandemic. That's the one thing I can thank the pandemic for, is giving us the time to be able to feel like we actually did these songs justice and put out something that we're extremely proud of. Not to say that the first album, I'm not proud of it, but I really am really happy with the way this album turned out.
I'm going to be honest. I was a little scared when we got into this whole thing. I was like, we're going to do it ourselves again? Okay.
You weren't even there for the first one. Man.
Exactly.
What you talking about?
I know. But you guys told me all the horror stories, and I was like, all right, let's do it, man. Let's do it. But it was great. We had a great mic selection, luckily. Like, we all had a really good array of microphones. We took the time to really mic out the instruments, and that was a little bit of a struggle on the way. We'll talk about that more, but no, it was relaxing, and just a good process all in all, through and through, for sure.
Absolutely. I think the only thing that I will say about that last song that's the saddest thing is that we've never once had somebody come up and be like and understand that it is an Office reference. So I understand that you wanted to probably put that out there, but I was like, man, I get it. So like the banjo kicks the song the same time as the vocals. So it's sometimes hard in like a live situation to hear the Caleb Crawdad was a man, Caleb Crawdad, yeah, and Sheriff Wallace,
Detective Wallace.
Oh man, but yeah.
I got a warm body in the other room.
All right, we
we
gotta move along.
We gotta take out the wrap it up box.
Let me introduce this one, and Brian will tell you more about it at the end of it.
What's this next song?
This one's called Maybe This Old Train.
Okay.
And it's about a girl in Caroline, and maybe this old train will take me away.
Valiant effort, my friend.
I know. It's how I perceive things. It's not how everyone perceives things. Yes.
All right, without further ado, track 4, Maybe This Old Train.
I'm on a southbound train, rolling down the tracks, bound for New Orleans, and I'm not looking back, 'cause the girl I love, she's still in Caroline. Maybe this old train get her off my mind. I was only a boy, just turned 19, pocket full of change and a heart full of dreams. On a warm summer's eve, I said fairly well to the land I love, where I used to dwell. I'm on a southbound train, rolling down the tracks, bound for New Orleans, and I'm not looking back, 'cause the girl I love, she's still in Caroline. Maybe this old train get her off my mind. Long years we never were apart, till the day that girl went and broke my weary heart, when I heard from a friend that she was to be with, and another man was sleeping in my bed. I'm on a southbound train, rolling down the tracks, bound for New Orleans, and I'm not looking back, 'cause the girl I love, she's still in Caroline. Maybe this old train get her off my mind. South, I'm Louisiana bound. I hope I don't get caught, and I hope I won't get found, 'cause I left two of them just lying on the floor, and I don't need that girl anymore. I'm on a southbound train, rolling down the tracks, bound for New Orleans, and I'm not looking back, 'cause the girl I love, she's still in Caroline. Maybe this old train get her off my mind. I'm on a southbound train, rolling down the tracks, bound for New Orleans, and I'm not looking back, 'cause the girl I love, she's still in Caroline. Maybe this old train get her off my mind. Maybe Maybe this old train will get her off my mind. Maybe this old train will get her off my mind.
Is that gonna work?
I don't know. Is that gonna work,
that
Michael?
going
Is that
to
gonna
work?
is that gonna work?
Did you just say that now, or is that on the album? I couldn't tell.
Hey, I think I was the only veto against that, but I got overruled. keeping that
Yeah,
on.
it was just too good. It was too natural a moment. You know, for anybody that did listen to the first album, we had a lot of those little like snippets kind of things that we had, but we didn't do as much of that on this one.
That was just another long day. That was a long day for Banjo in the studio.
He was
First
so
song.
relieved.
It was the first song. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember being done and just being like, I need to go get some Popeyes or something.
I got 13 more of these to do. God bless it.
Yep. So that song, Maybe This Old Train, is essentially, I guess it's probably our closest thing to a more traditional-ish bluegrass type song that we've got on this record, and especially from like a lyrical standpoint. What's cool about a lot of like bluegrass songs is you can have this very, very like happy.
You're telling me, sister.
I
That's very
totally
true.
agree. Banjo does make every day longer. So, so what's cool about a lot of
That's a
Roasted.
joke that hasn't been written yet. You should probably get some copyright on that real quick, just so you know. Sorry, I
you
got to
go.
say that. Go ahead.
All right. So, what's cool about a lot of like bluegrass songs is you have this happy sounding melody, and the lyrics behind it are like super depressing and sad or like twisted or whatever. But it's like you don't really like, as long as you sing along to it, it's like I'm on a southbound train. It's just kind of like a catchy kind of thing. But when you go into the lyrics of like the verses, where it's like he's talking to this guy talking about he's leaving Carolina after and leaving the girl he loved, all that kind of stuff. Then you find out about the story where okay, he's been with this girl for a while, and then he ends up finding her with another man, and then more into that story goes that he decides to commit a moita and
Moita, eh?
run out of town and leave it behind. So it's funny because it's like I said, it's interesting like juxtaposition between a happy sounding melody to like a sad, depressing kind of lyrics.
I didn't pick up on that until like the song was
Yeah.
almost done, and I was like, "Yo, this is psychotic right now.
Yeah.
This is so chipper and
It's,
happy." But
that's the funny thing. It's like if you're not really focusing on the lyrics, you just kind of like, oh, this is like a happy sounding bluegrass song. But then if you look at the lyrics, it's like, well, this is a little depressing.
Well, you got to remember, when a lot of these tunes, Stanley Brothers, all that stuff, when it was getting made, you got Great Depression going on, or you got some. The world was not a good place back then, and they had nothing to sing about, But the music was happy. you
Yeah,
know?
and then one thing in particular, I think with a lot of these songs, I've always been a big history lover, and a lot of the songs like take place in like a historical context, in my mind at least. Where I kind of like wanted to tell some stories about people on the fringes, and also like the way of life that was much rougher than what we're used to nowadays. Yeah. So that's about it. Before we go any further, so next Wilmington set is this Saturday at the Palmer Room. We are doing an album release down at the Palmer Room this Saturday at 9:00. After that, in June, I want to say
It's June. It's
June 26th at Riceville Beach Brewing
Yes,
Company.
that's what it is. Yep.
And
yep.
then we'll be at Burnt Mill Creek that night. the interpretive
you gotta
dance.
wait.
You
You
got a
gotta
couple
wait.
more songs before we
Yeah.
get to the interpretive dance.
we just finished that
Um,
bottle of Kava, John. Hang on.
Yeah, get me like a little bit more, and then I might bust out the whiskey here.
you got to
in a
send us a
minute.
good dad joke first.
Yeah. Yes. All right. This is the time in the show where we request your finest dad jokes. But yeah.
Without further ado, we're gonna go back to Tennessee.
There you go.
Track 5.
spring of '49, I left my childhood and my home, bound for the Sierras and a treasure unknown. For it's been said the gold fills the California hills, and a man could have his share if he's only got the will. So I crossed the lonely flatlands through the Rocky Mountain peaks to find a better way of life and the fortune that I seek. Fortune finds a way to vanish in the dark of night, too far away to touch, but always there in sight. And now there's gold up on the hillside, and there's blood in the valley. When I find what I am seeking, I'm going back to Tennessee. I'm going back to Tennessee. I arrived in San Francisco on the 3rd day of July, a pick and shovel in my hand and gold in my eye. I met a man named Charleston who said he knew the way to a place where even sinful men bow their heads to pray. He said I would go alone, but it's a job for 2 men. If we make it through this hell, then we will never work again. So we set off on our journey for the fortune left to find, not understanding consequence that weighed upon my mind. Now there's gold up on the hillside, and there's blood in the valley. When I find what I am seeking, I'm going back to Tennessee. I'm going back to Tennessee. Months past our search in vain, no riches come upon. I told him I was done with him, and now I must move on. As I turned to leave, I heard his voice let out a joyous cry. When he raised his hand, a rock of gold struck my weary eye. Cheers of triumph filled the air for the fortune we had found. When he turned his head, I grabbed my gun and I shot him to the ground. I said, have no fear, dear Charleston, now you are heading home. For this gold has always been mine, and it will be mine alone. Now there's gold up on the hillside, and there's blood in the valley. When I find what I am seeking, I'm going back to Tennessee. Now there's gold up on the hillside, and there's blood in the valley. Now I found what I was seeking, I'm going back to Tennessee. I'm going back to Tennessee.
Tennessee. Sing it there, brother.
Right on. That's one of my favorites on the album right there. That song just hits, man.
It's a good song.
The fiddle.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Shout out Will Maxwell.
Shout out to Mr. Will Maxwell.
Will, are you here? You better be here, Will.
I
bet you're playing a show in like
probably
Carolina
is.
Beach.
Wherever he's at. But yeah, that song, Back to Tennessee, was featuring our good friend and compadre, Mr. Will Maxwell, on the fiddle. Love what he did on that song. I think it definitely tied it in and gave it like that kind of old time feel. This is another one of those songs that, you know, kind of comes from a historical context. Yeah, so you're going to headed to Knoxville. Nice. There you go. Knoxville's a great town. That was like one of the last places we played before the world went down. And
It was a beautiful little city, though. You know.
Yeah, it was a great little town.
Great little town.
Knoxville's an awesome town, and we'll be back there
Super
later
nice
on this
people.
year. But
That's all I
To
remember.
Tennessee.
back to we will actually, yeah. So like when
Whoa.
we played that song, you know, the first time we did like the Blue Plate special like radio show, and we played at a place called Boyd's Jig and Reel, and
And
we
I
played
think-
the song. It was like we've never really been to Tennessee like and played, so it's like next
Now-
time when we come back, we're really gonna be telling the truth because we're going back to Tennessee.
And anyone in Tennessee, I think we're at Boyd's in August.
It's August, yeah, like
Like
16th.
Yeah,
I want to say
middle
man.
of the month. I want to say, yeah.
Yeah, I know, dude.
You're always murdering
Dude,
people,
I know.
man.
I know, Dave. I know.
So next album, it's all gonna be major keys and happy
It's
songs.
all gonna be happy.
no
Yes,
minor,
every
no minor sad
I
songs.
I write these songs about like Moita. I don't know why. I don't have any inclination to go out and murder anyone. But yes, okay. So yes, this song is another kind of historical type song. I was trying to think of like ideas for like historical type songs, and you know, I was like, okay, what about like the Gold Rush? You know, so that was like, okay. I'm like, I specifically sometimes when you write a song, it just kind of comes together over time, or you don't really specifically remember this. This song, I specifically remember like what I was doing when I wrote this song. I was out in Seattle visiting my sister, and I was upstairs in the Lego room in her house, and yes, they have an entire Lego room in their house filled with Legos, and I was surrounded. I just built this red and white Lego spaceship because I was a big Lego fan as a child, and I'm surrounded by these Legos, and I'm writing this song about the gold rush, and this is essentially about this guy who goes out to California to make his fortune, and meets this guy who is his guide, and ends up, as the guide discovers the gold, double-crossing him, and there you go.
You know, it's almost kind of like that Netflix movie, but the Ballad of
Buster
Buster
Scruggs.
Scruggs, with
Yes.
that gold scene. You
So,
know, it's
yes,
kind-
I'm a big
almost
fan-
kind of like that.
So, yeah, I think probably subconsciously I probably had a little bit to do. It was a little different because there was no guide really involved. But, you know, I'm a huge fan of the Coen brothers. So that's a great movie. And, yeah, maybe probably subconsciously I had a little bit of a inspiration from that. I used to have a dog named the Dude. So, you know, the Coen brothers are close to my heart. But, yeah, so, yeah, that's basically another one of those Moita songs.
Yeah, on like the production side of things on that one, that was one of the cool times when like you mentioned like, oh, I want the backup harmonies to be like call and response.
Yes.
And then it was like me and Winston's job as like to sing those, we had to come and like figure out how those fit
That
together.
took a minute too.
Yeah. It
took a
we,
couple
we had a
tries.
lot.
And-
Well, we had a lot of like at least a month when you brought it up, and you guys were like, "We got to figure this out." You
Yeah.
know.
Like how do we get it
Yeah.
to interweave without it like overlapping and sounding awkward and cluttered? And that last chorus, it just hits. You got the fiddle going on, you got the call and response.
Yeah, and then on the same note, I've got to give my boy Will Maxwell the shout out. He is the originator idea of the call and response
Oh, okay.
idea. Yes, we were. So Will had played a
didn't know
show with
this.
us down in Bluffton, South Carolina, right outside of like Hilton Head.
Which you relate to, Will.
Because he went to the wrong venue.
I'm
yes.
here.
He went to. He was like, "Where are you at?" Like we're here. You're at the wrong venue, my friend. So he ended up being like 30, 45 minutes late to that gig. But it's okay. We forgive him and we love him. And him and I were riding back up to Raleigh after that show, and he was like, I was showing him all like the rough tracks of this album, and he was like, what would be cool is a call and response on that. And I was like, that would be pretty cool. Yeah. So that's I got to give him another shout out for that one.
Yeah, it's great. I feel like it really brought the song together, and it
I think
needed
so
that
too,
at the
yeah.
end.
Totally.
Nice conclusion.
He definitely did a lot to help out on that song. I really appreciate him for that.
Dude, I love Jackstraw. It's probably like one of my favorite Dead tunes, man. Yeah. So
C. Farley gets this. I can only
Yeah,
hope that
yeah,
it's
I know.
Chris.
Hope
I
we
can
can
only
meet-
hope it's Chris. I don't know.
I hope we can meet sometime,
I
C.
can't tell
Farley
it's-
Howard. You sound like a very nice person and a cool dude. Would like to, grab a beer.
Hopefully to see you out in Wilmington.
Yeah, check you later sometime, Anyway, moving
right.
forward, we got track number 6. Uno, dos, tres.
Cinco, seis.
Nailed
Uno,
it.
dos, tres,
Cinco,
catorce.
cinco, seis.
Yeah, catorce.
There's 2 5s, right? Cuatro, cinco, cinco, seis.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, this next tune is called Truck Stop. We'll tell you about it when it's over with.
Hope you
The
enjoy
interpretive
it.
dancing starts now.
Ready? John, get up with us.
Put on your drone footage of Tucson.
John,
Just get
put
it
on a
queued up.
tie-dye T-shirt and send us a picture of you dancing.
All right, here's track
Can't wait to
6.
see you.
Truck Stop.
The only thing keeping me on this road is a guardrail and a light. So come on, baby, pack your bags and we'll leave this town and never come back. Come on, baby, won't you ride with me? At a truck stop down in Tucson, I left my brain in a wrapper and gone. And ever since that day, well, I can't seem to get things straight. I don't even look at the date anymore. 'Cause I ain't never been gone long enough to miss this place. But every time I try to leave, there's a sad look on your face. And feeling like I'm already dead, I'm still on my feet, searching through delirium just to hear my heartbeat. Driving through the snow on a Thursday night, with my mind caught up in a fight. Another day of gloom, silence peeling, the truth shining through. How in the hell did we take it this far? Chased after me as I left the room, to the yard lit up by the moon. And then in there I saw the tears falling down like pouring rain. I don't think I can go through that anymore. I ain't never been gone long enough to miss this place. But Every time I try to leave, there's a sad look on your face. Feeling like I'm already dead, I'm still on my feet. Searching through delirium just to hear my heart beat. Every time I try to leave, there's a sad look on your face. Feeling like I'm already dead, I'm still on my feet. Searching through delirium just to hear my heart beat.
Well, there you are, folks.
Right on. That's a banjo song if I've ever heard one.
All right.
Man, that was another exhausting day.
The thing is like, suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me.
That's all you said to me that day. Hey, just remember, it's like, suck it to me, suck it to me. Dude, Derek, I know. I played banjo. I get how it's supposed to be.
Just like this.
The only thing I got to say about that is I just remember that solo at the, the big solo part, my take before Brian's lead. It was just... had to be like that dead stop right there.
Yes, because there was like, I don't know, there was like a 5-show period where you like, I don't know, you didn't like get
just
it.
couldn't get it. Well,
you couldn't get like the stop in there, right? And you would
it wasn't even, we couldn't
mine.
hear ourselves. That was a problem.
That was probably part of the problem there.
But no, that's all I got to say about that.
I just like look over and give you that dead to me look.
Yeah,
like,
well, and I know.
You stepped on my lead, bro.
I know.
But he nailed it on the album.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Winston, what's the song about, my friend?
So before I forget that song, my production suggestion was for us to pan the banjo a little further to the right so that it could just crank the entire song and not distract from the lyrics. And that banjo playing is aight on that song.
My right ear was loving it.
That tune is a song that I imagined one night when I was in an imaginary mindset several years ago.
CBD, folks.
And it used to be it used to be kind of like a gypsy tune, a lot slower. And
did we decide that's the oldest song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wrote this song somewhere around like 2016 or something.
Oh, wow. I've never heard that story.
And it used to be
I never heard
a really
that
gypsy sounding tune, and the second verse I hated. And so I scrapped it for years, and then we were at the barn one day, and Brian was like, hey, what about that song? And I was like, yeah, the second half sucks. And he was like, well, I need you to rewrite a second verse because we need some original tunes. And so...
True story.
I wrote a second verse, and it's just kind of about some stuff that I imagined one night, and kind of my reflection on the situation that I was in at the time and whatnot. And I've never actually been to Tucson, Arizona, but I have seen the drone footage as I recorded the parts for this song.
So let's talk about that real quick. Yeah. So when we have a lot of these titles, you know, Tennessee, we talk about Tucson, we talk about there was another Caroline. I don't think we did a drone footage.
Not in Montana. We didn't
did
do
Montana. I think we did Montana.
I don't know if we did any drone footage from. Only thing I remember the drone footage from was Tucson.
There was others too. I know.
We had up different stuff. Like we would bring up like I'm trying to think of some other thing. It was for different songs. We'd be like, "What are you feeling for this song?" And we'd bring up like martial arts, like black and white muted.
And this would be a
Karate,
good time. Does anyone have the light?
Karate.
Does anyone have the light app open? Can we turn the Joker on real quick? Because I remember.
I don't know how well it's gonna.
We'll see.
You can only see
the
like
changes.
2 of the lights, but
I don't care.
We have custom lights, and it can like change the whole vibe in the studio with like a press of a button. And we would look for the specific
so
song.
did you see that
you
just
got
changed?
a little bit of light
so
change there.
Like I was always like, I want the Joker, and then Derek would put on Tucson, Arizona, for a drone footage.
And then if we're really getting frisky, we can put on like the lightsaber battle that these lights can do.
And that one
Force.
gets weird. Yeah, it gets a little weird. No, that was a good tune, you know.
That is harmonies on the last chorus. It's probably the highest vocals I've ever recorded, and I remember like screaming at the top of my lungs trying to get that clear and not sounding like I'm the dying goat.
Tell them about the you got this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like somewhere halfway through a take, I just out of nowhere I was like, I got this, or you got this, and it was just right after a line.
You were
while I was recording
vocals.
harmonies.
Yeah.
And then for the longest time we were like, we can't take that out. Like, that's got to stay in the song. So we tried like tooth and nail to get it in there.
Well, this is the best part. Winston was in your seat, and I was here just watching the whole thing. I don't think you were here at the time.
Maybe not.
I think you were helping your mom with her cabinets, and
fun experience.
And yeah, I just remember Derek had to pump himself up, and I think I went to go get food, and while I was away, Winston was like, "Why don't you do some push-ups?" And Derek did some push-ups to like pump himself up.
Those were some high harmonies, man.
Got
this.
Got this.
this.
It didn't make it onto the album, unfortunately. It was a little distracting.
You have to imagine that it's there. Though.
It's definitely there. We just turned it down.
So
sometimes I like to say in the talkback mic when we're playing live, like to let him know that he's got this. Remind him.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about this next one before Derek introduces it, if that's cool, because it's such a good, it's such an interesting song. You know, I know we're talking a lot, but this is our CD release party, so you know, deal with it.
If you want to just hear the music, come out to one of our several album release shows this weekend.
You're still gonna hear me talk, but I'm joking. Anyway, this song actually broke up a lot of the album. We had a lot of these, like I said, minor songs and or major songs that you know sound happy and or sad, and they were very either. I don't want to say singer-songwriter, but it was either like bluegrassy or very, you know, vocal heavy. It was about the lyrics. It wasn't about, you know, the melody as much or whatnot. And this song Derek brought to us right around the pandemic when it happened, and I remember listening to it. And again, I don't know. I'm always iffy because I'm a really heavy traditionalist. Like I just love traditional bluegrass. Like that's my thing. But Derek brought this song to us, and it was such a cool song. It's super gypsy sounding, and then when we recorded it, it got even better. And then Derek was like, "Yo, my brother plays some trumpet. Should hit him up." And the worst part, it was scary. Because it was the end of production on the album.
This is like 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I at that point I was like, dude, no. I was like, let's just wrap this up, man. Like, let's just get this done. And you're like, no, my brother's coming over. We're gonna do this. And,
thanks, Elizabeth.
Lame, whatever. Gypsies are cool though. It's true. Anyway, you know, I'll let Derek go on from it. I'm going to describe it as he always describes it. It's about being down sometimes. But you go forward with that.
You did a pretty good job, man. I'm just going to let it roll. I'll talk about it after. This is track 7, Less of My Mind.
when I'm feeling lonely. You can see right through me. I got nothing to say, nothing in the way when I'm feeling lonely. I got less of my mind than myself. When I'm feeling down, I can't get around. Well, nothing to do, nothing to prove. When I'm feeling down, I got less of my mind than myself. I got less of my mind than myself. Oh, when somebody pulls me out of my haze, tells me all about my selfish ways, all I can say, I got less of my mind than myself. I got less of my mind than myself. When I'm feeling sad, I can't get mad. Well, just let me be. Why can't you see when I'm feeling sad? I got less of my mind than myself. I got less of my mind than myself. When I'm feeling angry, don't try to change me. Well, I'm just getting by. I fail if I try. When I'm feeling angry, I got less of my mind than myself. I got less of my mind than myself. Oh, when somebody pulls me out of my haze, tells me all about my selfish ways, all I can say, I got less of my